everyone, it's Kim with the Basement Bunch Stampers, and today I'm going to show you a simple card that I created using the Succulent Gardens stamp set and coordinating framelits. This has been a really big hit with my class attendance this last month. This was one of my most popular to-go kits as well. So make sure you check out my website for other to-go classes that I offer as well, kimsbasementbunch.com. Make sure you also sign up to receive all my emails so you don't miss out on any of my awesome classes. But today I want to show you this card that was probably one of the favorites of my customers out of the entire class that I offered. So let me bring in the catalog and I will show you the product that we used. For that card we used the Succulent Framelits dies with the Succulent Gardens Designer Series paper and the coordinating ribbon. And I'm going to show you how simple this card went together and how easy it is to make. And you could use all these different kinds of paper and you could make the design look a little bit different by just changing out the papers. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, that's the card we're going to be making. And I started with a piece of old olive cardstock. This old olive cardstock is cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4. That's your typical card base size. I went ahead and I just folded that in half. And then what I did is I cut a piece of sweet sugar plum at 5 by 3 3/4. And I cut two different patterns of the Designer Series paper. Again, you can mix these up and give it the card different looks if you wanted to, but these are the two that I used. And these pieces of paper right here are cut at 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And I'm going to actually go ahead and adhere these down. And you're going to see that I'm going to be leaving a little bit of a gap in the middle of the piece of paper of the sweet sugar plum. And that is kind of by default because my ribbon's going to go across there and you're not going to be able to see that anyway because the ribbon's going to cover up the gap. So when you're putting these pieces down, you want to make sure that you kind of follow the same little border around the edges like we do with most of our cards with all the matting technique that we do. So I'm kind of leaving the same kind of edge on both sides. So again, you'll see where that gap is. And then what I did is I took the sweet sugar plum ribbon out of that pack and I cut it a little bit longer than the width of that card. Bring my paper snips in. I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And then what I do is I actually use our glue dots for adhering the ribbon down. They work really good and it's a lot quicker and faster, for me anyway, when I'm doing cards in large quantities. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap that piece of ribbon right around here. See how that glue dot just kind of holds it nice and tight there? So you want to make sure you adhere those pretty good and you push that down pretty good. And now you're good to go ahead and put this mat down onto the card. And most of my videos you'll notice I use fast fuse. I love fast fuse. To me it just does provide a little bit of a stronger bond. It isn't as forgiving as our snail, but I like it for that because it just, to me, it holds the cards together really, really good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. So again, bringing my sample here and I'm going to set it there so you can kind of see it. So this is what we're going to be making. How simple is that? And that is just a simple little technique that you could do with any of our Designer Series paper and matting it with one of the colors that coordinates and a card base that coordinates. This is probably one of my most favorite go-to layouts just because of the simplicity of it, and it's very easy and duplicatable. So then what I did is I used the Succulent Garden framelits, and I'm going to actually bring in a piece of cardstock here that we can lay these on so you can see them better. Let me bring this in here. So this is what you get in the Succulent Garden framelits. You get a whole lot of framelits. So the three that I used to make my flowers for this card is I used these three right here. But you can see that there's also all of these that you could use for layering if you wanted bigger flowers. And I'll be showcasing some scrapbook pages that I did. I still have a traditional scrapbook club that meets very regularly, and I do scrapbook pages for them the traditional way. And so a lot of what I do with my cards I also turn into a similar layout for my scrapbook ladies. So I'm going to actually go ahead, and I already have them cut out with a Big Shot. So I just ran these through on the Big Shot with the magnetic platform, these three. And I'm going to go ahead and layer those for you right now on that card. Just wanted to show you what ones I used. So let me bring the flowers in here. So these are the flowers I used, and I assembled them together with just simple glue dots. So I'm going to go ahead and put a glue dot in the middle of that there. And I'm just kind of layering this to cover up the space in between the petals. And I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. very simple. And what I do before I put these flowers down is I actually take my fingernail and I kind of feather them a little bit, just a little. It gives it a little bit of dimension. So I just folded up all of those little petals on the first 2 layers. And then what I do is I went ahead and I glued it down with dimensionals. And I forgot to bring dimensionals over here. So I'm just going to glue it down with the Fast Fuse so you can kind of see. But see how that kind of gave it a little bit of a feathered look? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to adhere that down right about here on the card. And let me assemble the green one here real quick. Again, same kind of process. I'm using our glue dots, putting a glue dot in the middle there. And I'm going to kind of put that on the center there. And the next one. So if you haven't checked out our Occasions catalog yet, I strongly encourage you to do so. There are some awesome products in there. It's probably been one of my favorites in a long time. There's not much I didn't get, I don't think, for my own personal use. I liked a lot of it. And again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fan this out. Okay. And adhere that over here. That one I didn't get quite as even because I was in a hurry, but you kind of get the point there. And what I did then is I topped the card with some of our jewel pearls. I think it just adds a nice little touch. Look how nice and clean and crisp that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a pearl to the center of both of these flowers. Doesn't that just make that flower come to life? And I am almost out of sympathy cards. I hate to say that because sympathy cards make me sad. But I decided to make this into a sympathy card. And I used the Flourishing Phrases stamp set. This is the second case of these. This comes with a bunch of other stamps as well. But I used the With Sympathy out of that stamp set. And I cut a piece of Tip Top Taupe at 1 inch by 2.5. And using the Tip Top Taupe ink, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to stamp the With Sympathy on here. And you notice that I don't put my stickers on my block or on my stamps. I choose not to do that. All my events that I do are in my basement, so I have more humidity and it's cold, a little bit cooler down here. So it's easier for me to not deal with all the humidity issues by just not putting the stickers on. They adhere so much better to those blocks for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and notch this. I could also use our banner punch, but the triple banner punch, but since I'm just doing this one card, sometimes it's easier just to do it that way. And then I would put dimensionals on there, but again, since I forgot to bring dimensionals over to my video station, I'm just going to use Fast Fuse and put that on there like that. And then I topped it off with 3 little pearls on the bottom of the banner as well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed my simple but cute card today, and make this one of your go-to layouts. It's very simple to do, and it just adds a really nice look to the card by incorporating a lot of the paper and coordinating products. So thank you for joining me today. Please check me out online at kimsbasementbunch.com. Click the join my mailing list so you don't miss out on any of my updates or any of my videos or classes that I'm offering online. I'm also on Facebook, so feel free to find me there at Kim Vogel's Basement Bunch Stampers. Thanks for stopping, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.